Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's joint presentation between RBCS and BI. I'm Rex Black, president of RBCS, a worldwide testing and quality assurance firm serving clients ranging from small startups to Fortune 20 global enterprises. Since 1994, RBCS has delivered insight and confidence to hundreds of clients around the world. We have a team of international consultants that deliver customized training, consulting, and expert services to companies that are looking to improve their test and quality assurance practices. In this session, I am happy to welcome Gary Rueda Sandoval. With a quarter century of experience in software testing and development, Gary Rueda Sandoval has been the first ISTQB instructor in Latin America since 2007. He has a diploma in computer science from the University of Applied Sciences in Berlin, Germany, has trained about 5,000 professionals in ISTQB courses in Latin America. He's a co-founder of the Hispanic American Software Testing Qualifications Board, the HASTQB. He's worked in the fields of software for the energy industry for Versata, which is solutions used in NASA and large industries, and test manager for various testing projects. He's a creator of test tools for intelligent generation of test cases and test data. And I'm happy to say that Gary and I partner to deliver TMMi assessments to clients throughout the Americas. And so based on that, we're going to, in this presentation, discuss how TMMi can improve your testing and accelerate your business performance, since testing is a key contributor to higher profits, customer satisfaction, personnel motivation, and a bigger market share and more. So Gary, take it away, and I'll ask you some questions as we go.
Okay, hi Rex, and hello beautiful people from around the world. Thanks for the invitation to this webinar on how TMMi can move your testing forward, measure, compare, accelerate. We will show you here that TMMi will not only improve your testing, it will also accelerate your business performance, since testing is a key contributor to higher profits, customer satisfaction, personal motivation, bigger market, and others. This short presentation is divided in parts. To have a context, in the first part, we have a presentation that where we would like to show you some data and trends on the state of software projects, software development methods, software testing, and TMMi trends data. Then in the middle of the presentation, we will show you the major problems that TMMi solves. We will show you very simple how we use TMMi to evaluate and improve our clients. Then we will show you the competitive advantage and impact of TMMi, not only in testing, but also in business. And in the final part, we will talk about some predictions on TMMi. And okay, let's start.
All right, looking forward to it.
Okay, let's create some context based on data. I love numbers, I love data. Let's talk about the pain. Here we can see that the Standish Group Chaos report of 2015 states that around 70% of software projects were unsuccessful from 2011 to 2015. And the most recent Standish Group Chaos study of 2018 shows that Agile projects are statistically twice more likely to succeed and 3 times less likely to fail than waterfall projects. And in 2013, Scott Ambler did a survey based on, although he used few data, but he found in 100 companies that a comparison between the distribution of success between waterfall projects, ad hoc projects, iterative projects, agile projects, and lean projects. As you can see here, the right corner down, you can see the waterfall and ad hoc projects were very unsuccessful, with 18% fail and 32% challenged by waterfall, and by ad hoc projects, 15% fail and 35% challenged. And a little bit more successful, or I mean more successful, were iterative projects and agile projects. By iterative projects, they had 7% fail and 28% challenge. And by agile projects, 6% fail and 30% challenge. And the most successful methodologies were lean methodologies, where 72% were successful and 7% fail and 21% fail.
So Gary, do you know that if by iterative project is what Ambler was talking about, basically RUP, Rational Unified Process?
No, I'm not sure.
No, yeah, that's what I would guess, but that's because that would be probably the only major iterative life cycle in 2013.
Yeah, that could be possible. And also he measures a different success than the standish group.
Yeah.
He has statistics that where success is more depending on what the customers wanted, and not always the customer wanted that a project should be with all the features there. It was more successful a project if the time delivery was successful and not the features. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to Capers-Jones's definition, right, of successful versus unsuccessful, which is the successful is it completed on time, right? Unsuccessful is it was either canceled or it was late or over budget or both by I think it was 25% or more or 20% or more. So
yeah,
he's the same. Yeah. Jones is doing the same kind of thing of just saying, well, I'm not so much worried about how the customer felt at the end of it. I'm just worried about the hard facts of, did the project actually deliver, and if so, did it deliver more or less on time? If neither of those things are true, then it's a failure.
Yeah, and now I think I read the Standish Group is fixing that so that they not just measure on these three metrics on budget, on time, and on features.
Mm-hmm.
They will then measure also profitability and and market share and those things and
right.
combination, and have more statistics, so
yeah.
more accurate information.
Mm-hmm.
So continuing to this data, current data we have here a comparison with agile testing and traditional testing is interesting. David Rico from a presentation for 2009 says that agile projects succeed 3 times more and fail 3 times less. And the inclusion, which is here important, is that agile testing versus traditional testing has an 18-to-1 versus a 7-to-1 return on investment, which means that the inclusion of agile has 10 times more return on investment.
That's pretty impressive, yeah.
Yeah, it's impressive, yeah. So, and test acceleration is achieved by more automation through all the development and testing and deployment. Here is DevOps. David Rico also did a presentation DevOps, where he describes that test acceleration can be achieved by DevOps, and examples in the industries are like here, Google does 150 million tests per day, and Bing 20,000 tests per commit, okay, or per delivery. Oh, okay, and okay, good. Also, as an example, Tesla, I have seen they have a lot of deliveries per day, 130 deliveries. Amazon has around thousands of deliveries per day of features. Okay, good. Let's move then on TMMi. What is the state of TMMi regarding data? According to a study done by experts of the UK until 2010, in a survey of 100 companies, 70% of the companies were at TMMi level 1. They were working in a chaotic and hero-based way, but they started to build some processes. And around 30% were at TMMi level 2, and where they started to have established process based process, and they were moving to implementing those processes at a wide level, organization-wide level. And as you can compare this data to the Standish Group report of 2015, they stated that 70% of the projects were unsuccessful from 2011 to 2015. Maybe a coincidence. It could be. I can assure that probably. But there are not enough studies about that.
It's interesting because if you read Capers-Jones's book, I think it's Economics of Software Costs. One of the things, one of the chapters in there discusses major causes of project failure, and one of the 4 top causes of project failure is bad or inadequate software testing.
Okay. Okay. I agree. Okay. Good. And regarding the current state of TMMi in this until 2019, based on information provided by Eric van Veenendaal from 2013 to 2019, there has been a growth of 1,000 people that are TMMi professional certified in different countries, and 200 companies in TMMi test maturity model, with a significant growth in 2019. There are more companies certifying to level 3 than the years before.
Yeah, and level 3.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me just jump in there. Level 3, I would think is really ought to be kind of the minimum target in my mind, because you're only going to start to really get the good high value benefits at level 3, because you're starting to be strategic and coordinated across multiple projects, right? Whereas level 2 is just, it's project by project, not institutionalized across all the projects. So hopefully what we see over time is that more people moving to level 3, not just saying, well, level 2 might be good enough.
Yeah, I think it will be that, because also the teams are bigger, and so.
Yeah.
And as you say, they need an organization and to provide more formality.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. And as you can see in both diagrams, there is a correlation at the moment between the countries. You see China has, where it means where people get certified or start with some formation in TMMi, the companies get certified. You should see China at 24%, and they have 70% companies certified. Also correlates with UK, 20% of certified people in TMMi, and they have 24% companies. And Spain also here, 9% is a little bit less here, but the people who are certified, the countries, there are companies that also are certified. There's also a correlation. Good. And regarding the current state of distribution based on industries, You can see that financial services and IT services are the largest sectors that are certified by TMMi because their needs for robust and cost-effective testing is the most important, especially by financial services.
That's an interesting chart, Gary. I would have thought that pharmaceutical would have been a major one in there. Maybe
Oh, yeah.
some of that is the IT might be IT groups within pharmaceuticals, because I did an informal assessment for an IT group that supports a major pharmaceutical company. So maybe it gets counted as IT rather than as pharmaceutical.
Yeah, it is not related to where they work in IT, and probably you are right. Yeah, so it's not perfect, the pie.
It's not a beautiful pie. Right. Maybe it's a tasty pie.
Yeah, a vanilla pie. So, and major problems. What are the major problems here? One major problem is, as you said, regarding the unsuccessful projects, whatever the measure of success is, 50%, around 50% of projects are still failing, independently how you define that success. So improvement in software development process has been run to achieve product quality, but it's not enough. So the improvement of testing has become a key and complementary activity that directly influences not only the quality of the product, but also the entire software development and in case of other industries, manufacturing process. Many test improvement models have been used in the market, which still have the following weaknesses. They are not business oriented. They are not adaptable. They do not cover all testing levels. They do not comply with international test standards. I mean, with a broad quantity of testing standards. They are not independent, and they are very far from CMMI. So, and which major problems are solved at TMMi? The problems that I have mentioned. In our opinion, TMMi is the best choice today, since TMMi is a model that addresses more each of those problems is business oriented. So you can specify, there are practices where you can specify goals, business goals, or quality goals at a high level, and you can then track those goals to all the activities through the testing activities that could be low level. So there is a connection between business and IT or testing, which in other models is not so good connected. And then independent, so the model is supported by a nonprofit organization that's supported by many professionals around the world. It also addresses all testing levels. There are practices from component testing to acceptance testing. And is it adaptable to any development process? It shows you how or what you could use, but not how. So you can be very flexible. The important thing is that you diminish the defect from the beginning, and you detect defects or prevent defects so that you gain more profit when you detect the defects early. And you can adapt this to Agile, to Waterfall, to iterative models. The importance that you do the practice. And this is near to TMMi. Is the structure is this is in its stages. Is very common to use. It's easy for companies that work a lot with TMMi. It's easier to implement. And also supports international testing standards. Makes a lot of references to ISTQB and other standards as IEEE, and now the new ISOs for ISO 29119. Okay, and those problems are solved by TMMi. And how does it work? Here's a simple example, a simple explanation. I will show you how it worked by one of our clients and how it could work in your organization. We helped a client in Mexico improve its testing processes within 8 months and in three main steps. After there is a client request, we follow three main steps: information evaluation, then a health check, and then a formal evaluation. Let's go through each main step and explain what happens in each of them. In general, we have three sub-steps in each main step, which are very similar, the sub-steps. The first sub-steps is data and document research, interview analysis and alignment, report preparation and delivery. So let's go through in detail. In data and documentation research, we request our client expected specific artifacts proposed by TMMi of their current projects, which should be evaluated, and then we research them and start checking them on if the goals of the testing processes areas have been achieved by evaluating practice and sub-practice on the following. Is the practice or the adequate alternative defined? Is the practice or the adequate alternative implemented? Is the practice spread across the whole organization, or is there an alternative way to do that? Is the practice understood by all the organization? Are all the expected results of the practice complete? And at the end, we check the evidences of all mentioned points. Then we take note of every evaluated artifact against the TMMi model to be confirmed again or need further evidence in the next sub-step, which is interview, analysis, and alignment, which usually it is done on site. Then if that's the case, then we schedule the interview and analysis on site with the participants, responsible participants of each area, or could give good information about their projects and could confirm. And during this second sub-step, we checked and confirmed more thoroughly if the goals of a testing process area of a testing processes have been achieved by evaluating every practice and sub-practice again on the definition, implementation, institutionalization, clarity, completeness, and evidences. And then we rate these practices as fully achieved, largely achieved, partially achieved or not achieved. And a goal is then evaluated or rated based on the consolidation of those practice and sub-practice evaluation. And every testing process area is evaluated based on the weakest goal achieved. And then the maturity level is evaluated on the weakest testing process area or of all lower maturity levels. Okay, and then in the last, once we have rated those points of practice goals and test process areas and maturity levels, and the last step, sub-step, we do a report and preparation and delivery for the client. We collect all the information and create a report. If everything is okay, as you can see here, you can go and recommend the customer or the client to be evaluated formally. Where each sub-step is repeated, but we now with an accredited, at least with an accredited assessor and a lead assessor, and is again evaluated at the practice goal, test process area, and maturity level. If there are some findings that need to be fixed here, then the client must fix them with, okay, I go back here. If in the first main step there were findings that need to be fixed, then the client should go through a second main step, health check, where also all the sub-steps are repeated again in general. And if this time is everything okay, then the client can go to a formal evaluation. If not, it should be go back again and do a second health check. If the formal evaluation is then successful, then the company could be certified or can be certified with an achieved maturity level. If not, then it can run many formal evaluations until all the findings, which could be goals that are partially achieved or not achieved, are fixed.
Hey, Gary, if you don't mind, I'll jump in here for a second.
Okay.
With the client we did in Mexico, we pretty much followed exactly this flow of we had an informal assessment, and then we had a health check, and then a formal evaluation.
Right.
And achieved level 3. Now, it's true that there is that possible loop out of the formal evaluation back to do that again, but that of course is one of the things that we very much wanted to avoid with our client in Mexico, because it's very expensive when that happens. So the informal evaluations are broad, but they are also more efficient because you do not have the same requirement to have 2 accredited assessors involved. And then the health checks are similarly efficient, and health checks are focused just on the gaps that were identified in the informal evaluation. And you just want to have confidence that when you get into that formal evaluation, everything's going to work, because you don't want gaps.
Yeah, I think you're right. And in the last part, I recommend also that if you feel confident, really confident, you could then go directly, but this is a risk, you know.
Yeah.
It's a very high risk.
Yeah. Yeah. So every now and then I hear people think, well, we're pretty sure that we're solid, so we're just going to come straight in and do the formal evaluation. I'm like, yeah, well, that's a pretty big gamble.
Okay, right. And to finish here, this company in Mexico is considered now can retain more higher range projects because of their certification and also they are more competitive in the market. They are seen as one of the best companies because of the certification. Okay, good. Let's talk about now on the competitive of features of TMMi of the model, the advantage. Here we would like to show you the competitive advantage. TMMi is a testing model framework that includes testing maturity levels. What you can see here, there are 5 levels, and testing goals in each process area within each level, goals, practices, sub-practices, concepts and principles that helps organizations systematically measure at what level of testing maturity an organization is performing. Then the measurement results are used to compare on which areas should be improved, and then the framework suggests a roadmap. A roadmap, as you can see here, the arrow that goes from the lowest level on defect prevention practices to the highest level ones prevention, which are differentiated by these 5 levels. And you can achieve this. There are statistics on projects provided by Clive Bates and Klaus Olsen that it is true that you achieve by higher defect prevention at the highest level, and the benefit is you get increasing benefits as higher profitability, higher customer satisfaction, higher quality, higher defect detection, and higher team motivation. You know, if you have a motivated team, probably most probably they will make the customers or clients happy. Good. This roadmap of TMMi recommends a set of practices of what needs to be done and when. It doesn't prescribe how it must be done. So if you don't know how to do some practices, TMMi recommends ISTQB as a good source. In terms of testing management, you could also combine by using Agile, Lean, iterative methodologies. You could also use, if you like, waterfall. A key advantage of TMMi for the future is that it allows higher flexibility. It doesn't prescribe a fixed process so that you can adapt the framework very easily to any process, as mentioned, which allows you the possibility to change more easily and more creative, not be too repetitive. Of course, repetition is important to accelerate as Lean prescribes or proposes, but too much repetition could make teams less creative and make them think less and unable to change, which also could cause deceleration instead of acceleration. So, what about the predictions? We can predict based on the current data and experiences, there will be a significant growth trend in 2020, but now we have more current data by this virus crisis in the world. I think this could not be true anymore.
Well, it depends, Gary. I mean, one of the things that we can certainly do if anybody was thinking, well, I was going to have a TMMi assessment, but now it's all on hold. Certainly, the assessments can be done remotely. So if your organization's in a situation where they're saying, this work from home stuff actually kind of frees up some time to think about process improvements that we've been wanting to make for a while, which is what I'm hearing from some clients, that this might be a good time to say, hey, let's just go ahead and start working on our TMMi maturity and get that squared away while we're doing this work from home and not being, you know, distracted by so many meetings in the office.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I was wrong with this perception, my perception, because now, for example, my daughter is working more with software, so she's doing her homework, her homework with the internet, with
Yeah,
classroom. With classroom, he's doing every task more digital. So
yeah,
the growth on software will be more because of this. You're right. Yeah.
yeah. In
Okay.
fact, I had a client today tell me, we're talking about, well, is this going to stop your effort? They would have a major process improvement effort underway, and he said, well, it's probably a little bit of a pause, but given the space that we're in, it directly intersects all of the sort of equipment and software and systems and such that's necessary to support work from home. Uh, we actually expect a lot more business.
Hmm. Okay. That's what you said, and
Yeah.
I agree. So in the next years, TMMI and more agile DevOps implementations will be okay as more companies are jumping into agile and DevOps projects. So there are more requests also on TMMI in the world, in Europe and Latin America and USA. So only companies that really implement improvement in quality by such a model like TMMI will not only improve your testing, it will also accelerate your business performance in any industry. So I recommend the way to go for business acceleration is Agile plus DevOps. DevOps is an implementation of Lean with automation, and TMMI for software quality, as is the only model that covers more in testing practices. So good. What could be their next steps or here? There are many possibilities, and we talked in that workflow. If you don't know so much TMMI, if you just want to do a small start, you could start with a survey, about your organization, business unit, or testing process. But if you want to go deeper with a detailed evaluation in order to know how you're performing and you want to improve your testing process, then just take an informal evaluation. And if you additionally want to get certified and get a higher maturity level, then you should take an informal plus a formal evaluation. And in case your company has a lot of experience, it's really, really, really carefully there, is really confident about its TMMI implementation, they should just take a formal evaluation. But probably you don't recommend that, Rex, right?
So one time when I was a young kid, I was up at a lake where there was a bridge that went over a narrowish part of the lake. And I wanted to jump off the bridge into the lake, but I waited to make sure that I saw somebody else jump off the bridge into that part of the lake first. And then I made sure that I knew exactly where they jumped from because there were rocks in that lake and I wouldn't have wanted to land on one of those rocks. So I sort of think that if you go straight into a formal evaluation, it's like jumping off a bridge into a lake where you can't really see if there are rocks underneath. It might be fine, but it might not.
Yeah. 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 Good. Yeah. So,
Okay,
we are finished now.
we have a
Okay.
question. We do actually have
Oh,
a question that
we
I think is an interesting one, and it gets to
we have
something that,
somebody in. We have some people
yeah,
in.
we had a number of people, a number of attendees. Only one of them was
Great.
brave enough to ask a question, but um, it's a question from Peter. He says, "Why do you think the adoption of TMMI is so slow in the United States?" And I guess this has to do with a project that we've been working on, Gary, that we can talk about now finally, that we have together with a number of other folks, launched the TMMi America's chapter, North America's chapter. So watch for more publicity with respect to TMMi in the United States and really throughout the Americas over the next few months as this gets off the ground. Of course, as you said, Gary, the coronavirus thing does have interesting wrinkles here, but you never know. Maybe this will be the time when organizations say, since we're unable to do things that require a lot of face-to-face activities, we're going to focus on things that can be done remotely, and one of those would be a TMMi assessment.
And also we close robotics more faster than before for buying food and cleaning and so on. That is an issue here, or I don't know, everywhere. You know?
Yeah, true enough.
And, okay, good. Another.
No, that was it. I said we only have one person brave enough to ask a question, but it's always good.
I think we just need to do more marketing.
That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
Okay, great. Well, thanks very much, Gary. I'll go ahead and take us out here.
Okay, thank you everybody there around the world, and I recommend keep safe, and we see you next time.
Yep, great.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. I hope all of you enjoyed this free webinar from RBCS. We do these free webinars as a service to the software testing community because at RBCS, we are a not just for profit company. If you enjoy our free webinars and feel that they demonstrate solid insights into the kinds of testing challenges you face, please make RBCS your preferred software testing vendor for any and all expert services, consulting, or training. We're happy to provide a quote for any such help you might need. You can contact us, info@rbcs-us.com, as you see below. So that's the end of the webinar. Thanks again, Gary, and thanks to all of you for attending. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Rex, and have a nice time. Bye-bye.
All right. Goodbye.